Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 43 of Popcorn Problems. My name is Ilan Pressman, and I'm here with my very good friend and fellow co-host,
Nicholas DePasco. Every week we'll make sure you're caught up with the biggest news and movies in Hollywood.
This week we're going to be giving you our review of Toy Story 5, one of last weekend's biggest new releases. But before we get to that, what's poppin'? Where we run through the biggest movie stories this week. What's up, guys? I hope we're all doing well. How you doing, Nick? Happy to be here with you today.
I'm happy to be here too, man. I'm chilling, excited. Around middle of summer-ish, How's your summer been going so far?
Yeah, it's going chill. Working this past weekend for Father's Day, I think I actually worked almost 20 hours. On Saturday, I closed, I had a night shift, and then Father's Day I did a double, so I was there all day. And then yesterday I opened, so it's just a couple, it was a little rough streak right there, but pretty chill, getting that moolah, getting that bread.
For sure, brother. That's what it's all about. We're on the grind set this summer.
Yes, sir. What about you? How's your summer, man?
Honestly, same. Just finding a little ways to make money here and there. Also working, but also just chilling out. I had a very stressful beginning of the year, just because of school and everything. So I'm just kind of also just taking this moment to take it slow. Breathe.
Yeah.
Just recuperate, I guess, and then
for sure.
Build up for the next part of the year where we're gonna go heavy. We're gonna be on that grind set yet again. But yeah,
always.
Yes,
So let's move into the box office like we always do. This was a pretty big week. I mean, I'm sure we expected that because Toy Story 5 opened this week, and it's the year's biggest opening so far, with the weekend total being $228.9 million, which is up 58.4% from this slot last year, which I believe what came out last. What was the Pixar movie from last year? Because they always have the Father's Day weekend for Pixar. Was it Elio?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. And that's why it's significantly larger than last year. Because I don't think Elio opened that large. And then compared to last weekend, it's up 62.8%. Number one, obviously, is Toy Story 5 this weekend. It pulled in $160 million domestic, globally $312 on a $250 million budget. The biggest opening of 2026 so far, and the second biggest animated debut ever behind The Incredibles 2. Has great reviews and good cinema scores and all that, so it's going to have legs throughout the whole summer. And also just Toy Story, it's one of the biggest franchises, that Disney has. So
I'm honestly surprised by the amount of relevance to people still give Toy Story. Not that I don't think it deserves it. No, I respect it. I just think I didn't expect people to still care about these same characters so much after over 2 decades of whenever the first Toy Story came out, 1995.
Yeah,
literally after 2 decades. That's crazy to think about.
I don't know. I just feel like these movies feel like real movies compared to a lot of other Pixar movies just a lot of other kids animation films that have come out in the past couple years. Even Toy Story 4, which I didn't really like, I still think it had a mature message and some good elements. These are just still real movies and not just dumb kid slop. And when we get into our Toy Story review, we'll get more into that, but I think this one definitely continues that trend of being actual content. Number 2 this weekend was Disclosure Day. In its second weekend, it pulled in $17 million domestic, which is a 62% drop, which means domestically, its total is $78.3 million, $160.4 million global on a $115 million budget. It's an okay hold. Could be doing better. It's doing the best, mid country-wise with older males. And younger audiences aren't really showing up according to the polling and all. I don't know how they measure these statistics, but that's the general consensus, is that a lot of older people are liking it, older males specifically, and younger audiences aren't giving it a chance, and the ones that do aren't really liking it.
It's boomer slop, bro. This is the type of movie that your dad stands
I'm not surprised.
This is the type of movie your dad stands in front of the TV with his hands on his hips, just watching. Very intently. It's that sort of movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's see. Number 3 this weekend, Obsession, in its 6th week.
Damn.
Still in the top 10. pulled in $14.2 million domestic, which is only a 25% drop. Insane. Domestically, we're at $215.8 million. Globally, we're at $333 million on, and I'll say it again, a $750,000 budget. The micro-budget horror barely drops week to week, and it is only the third original film since Coco in 2017 to cross 200 million domestic, joining Sinners. Yeah, so I mean, I saw it's like in the top 10 domestic horror movies of all time.
Yeah.
So it's, crazy. I wonder at what point does it slow down? Because I don't feel it slowing down. I still see Obsession everywhere. I still hear people talking about Obsession everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's not slowing down, and I'm happy about that. I'm really excited. I don't know if you remember that Tampa convention I talked about earlier this year.
I think so.
They added a few cast members from Obsession to the convention for their October show. Yeah. So Ian, which is like the friend, and then oh my god, I can't remember. Is it Sarah? Like the on your left girl. Is her name Sarah? Oh my god.
I think so. Yeah, you said like the goth girl?
Yeah, the goth girl. They're both going to be there. So
cool.
I'm really hoping they add the whole cast, because I would love to talk to Curry Barker and Indy Neveretti and Michael Johnson as well. Yeah, that's just such a great movie. I really, really love Obsession.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see this thing slowing down. I also just think it's incredible that we have like a movie like this in our generation. I genuinely didn't think we would get like another like generational movie like how Star Wars or like how Jaws was for people back then, where like it was just became like this big sensational thing. We've had like things that were hits, especially when it comes to like Marvel movies and stuff like that, but nothing completely independent or completely original that's also been like a big hit, that's also been like a giant sensation within like the, I guess, world community or whatever.
Yeah, just like universally loved and like accepted as like the next gen of like filmmaking, I feel like.
Exactly. It just makes me excited to see the amount of traction and the amount of excitement that's behind it. Like how people don't shut the fuck up about it. Yeah, I still keep seeing about it too.
Yeah. Better like it now before Twitter tells you it's and overrated.
Literally.
And it's coming. I'm telling you. Give it a couple more months. It's coming.
I've already heard some people say that like they didn't love Obsession, and I'm not saying that like it's not an unlovable movie either. Like it's not perfect, but I don't know. Let's just wait a few months and see. I'll give it till maybe August. I think August is when the tide will start turning.
We'll see. Okay. Number 4 is Backrooms, which is also holding pretty well. In its fourth week, it only dropped 35%, pulling in 7.3 million domestic, which means that globally it just crossed 300 million on a $10 million budget. So even though there is so much other stuff, including a horror movie, which, I mean, this many weeks out clearly overshadowed Backrooms. You know, Backrooms is still making money. It's still doing well. And I think that's just so great how all these movies can like kind of coexist in the box office. And it just shows, I know I've been saying this every week for the past couple weeks, but man, I'm just so happy seeing people going to the movies. I'm happy that movies are making money and that movies are kind of good again. So just great feeling. Great feeling.
Are movies back? Are movies back, guys?
Yeah, are movies back? Yeah.
Honestly, I'm of the opinion as well that like Obsession ate some of the viewership from Backrooms, but also kind of
definitely
thinking about it, I almost feel like Obsession helped Backrooms to some extent. Like I don't think Backrooms, I'm thinking this potentially, maybe Backrooms wouldn't have been as big as it is right now without like Obsession being as big as a hit as it is and introducing so many people to this like to this newer style of filmmaking, to this more open style of filmmaking.
Gen Z horror.
Yeah, Gen Z horror. And then like people being like, oh my god, Obsession was really good. And now there's another movie that's like not similar, but like kind of similar, I guess, in like tone and I guess directing style. Yeah, give me more. You know what I mean? Like, now I'm thinking potentially, like, because of Obsession, you know, kind of like all rising tides raise all ships or something like that.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
It could be a little bit of like both a not such a venomous relationship, but also a contributing relationship between both. I feel. I don't know.
I agree. I think there were some people I saw on social media that were trying to make it kind of like a Barbenheimer type of event.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people don't really understand why the Barbenheimer thing worked. I think it's because they were such drastically different genres and all that. But I think it is cool just to have like a horror event going on right now, you know, with these two movies. And there's one more later on the box office that I'm going to talk about that didn't do too well. But anyway, going down, looking here, Scary Movie just crossed 200 million in its third week. So I think we're probably going to be getting that Scary Movie 7. And then we'll also probably be getting that White Chicks 2 that they said would happen if this movie was successful. Masters of the Universe is continuing to bomb, only at a little bit over 100 million global for a $200 million movie without advertising. So that is probably going to be one of the biggest bombs of the year. And then we had 2 new movies open this week other than Toy Story 5. We had a neon, like, horror LGBTQ film called Leviticus, which I did watch, so I'll be able to give a review of that later on. It opened at 8th place with 2.8 million domestic and 3.3 on a $3.3 million budget, and only under 1,000 screens. So not too bad, but I can see it losing a lot of screens very soon just because there's so much happening in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. I don't know how this will hold. We'll see. And then the second movie that opened, or the second other movie that opened this weekend is Death of Robin Hood, which opened at 9th place with a 2.6 million domestic on a $20 million budget. This is like that Hugh Jackman, like, gritty.
I know what movie you're talking about. It's distributed by A24, but I just know the only thing that I really know about it is people saying like, it's so funny how A24 is trying to treat the Death of Robin Hood like a real movie, because nobody knows about its existence. Nobody cares. Unfortunately, maybe it's a good movie. I don't know.
I have a coworker that saw it. He said it's pretty good, and I did want to watch it at some point this weekend. I didn't get to it just because it was super hectic.
Sure.
I do plan to watch it, hopefully in theaters, just because I like Hugh Jackman, and like I said, I did hear some good things, but clearly it's not resonating with people. It only had a C+ cinema score, which isn't ideal. Yeah. So we'll see. I can't imagine this is going to hold very well. I don't think it'll probably even make it to the top 10 next week because it's already at number 9 and it's opening weekend. Last thing is that number 10, Michael's about to be slipping out of the top 10, and I'm surprised it has not hit $1 billion yet. It's at 937.6 million, and it's slowly crawling to the $1 billion mark. But I really thought by now, in its 9th weekend, it would have hit it. So it's kind of putting doubt on my guess on whether it's going to hit that $1 billion mark. I think it might very slowly if they give it show times over the summer and not kick it out of the marketplace completely. Then maybe it could hit $1 billion, but I don't know. I think it's definitely not going as fast. Like
I think it also depends on how both Toy Story 5 continue to do and Supergirl does. Just because, like, you know, these movies are gonna need these screens. You know, Michael can't occupy all of them, so it really depends on like if they're doing poorly, then they're probably gonna give it to Michael. If not, then they're gonna give it to the newer films. So damn, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't.
And it's not just Toy Story and Supergirl, because the following weekend is gonna be Minions and Monsters, and then the following weekend is gonna be the Moana, the live action Moana, and all of those, you know, the studios want to be big money draws, so they're gonna get stupid amounts of theaters. So yeah, we'll see. I honestly, if I had to tell you my guess, I don't think it's hitting $1 billion at this point. But I'd like to be proven wrong. Do you think it's gonna
sorry, can you repeat the number that it's at right
now? So right now, at the end of its 9th week in the box office, it is at 937.6 million.
Another 70 million. I don't know. That might be tough at this point.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like this weekend, it only pulled in 2.2 million domestic.
Yeah. Probably not. So it'll be, which I'm sure will be absolutely killer for all the producers of Michael and everyone who is like they're not able to.
Yeah, how will they survive?
God, the embarrassment, the utter shame and embarrassment for them. I'm sure it's destroying. But yeah, that's crazy.
I'm sure if we do get that sequel, that one will probably hit $1 billion.
It would depend on how controversial it is, because supposedly in the sequel,
I guess so.
They're gonna address everything,
right?
No holds barred, full truth, baby. So right. We'll see. We'll see how they stick to that. So we'll see. And, depending on how that is, because honestly, it could go either way. If they're too honest with it, then it could be too controversial and not make a lot of money. If they go half honest with it, then it could be so lukewarm that people don't care. I don't know. Yeah. I honestly don't see it.
They're gonna have to get it perfect. They're gonna have to get it very right.
That's what I mean. So I don't see a world where that movie has a good reaction, whether it be box office or critical or whatever. I don't see a world where that movie works or where they make that movie work. But we'll see. It doesn't matter. Right. Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. So year to date, we're up 14%. So January 1st to June 21st of 2025, 3.91 billion. And then that same time frame this year, 4.46 billion. So we are tracking pretty good. Overall, big picture, Toy Story 5 posted the biggest debut of 2026 so far. And it accounted for 2/3 of the weekend's domestic gross. Summer 2026 is now running 1.8% behind pre-pandemic 2019, which had Endgame like carrying it, right? And also a lot of other shit that came out that year. That was just 2019, I think, had the most billion-dollar movies ever. So only being 1.8% behind that, I think is great. It looks like we're on track to top $4 billion for the season, which is like the summer season. And that would be the second time post-COVID. Cool. And like I mentioned, up next we have Supergirl, we have Jackass next week, followed by Minions over the 4th of July, and then Moana the weekend after that. And then the weekend after that is going to be The Odyssey, and then we have a break week where I don't think there's anything crazy, and then the weekend after that is Spider-Man. So it's just IP, pushing through.
Yeah, Ben, we all do.
Is the Odyssey IP? It's like the original IP, right? It's like the original IP.
We all. Why are you? Well, you're not right. You don't have to brag about it. We all do it. It's fine. That's fucking stupid. What were you saying? Sorry. I don't even know. What did you say the original IP was? Oh, the Odyssey. Yeah, the Odyssey. That is IP. I do consider that IP.
It's like the original IP, right? It's like the first story ever.
It is IP Genesis. I guess, yeah, one of those. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. That's what I mean when I'm saying, like, I was talking about this earlier, I think before we started the podcast, where I have these moments with going to the cinema, wherein, like, sometimes I just, like, don't go, or before I did this podcast, sometimes I just, like, would, like, spend, like, maybe a month or so not going, even if there were movies that I was excited about. But, like, yeah, and because I'm doing the podcast now, I am going, obviously, the most consistently that I've been throughout, actually, no, not throughout my life, but just pretty consistently, obviously. And I just feel like lately, it has been just IP slop after IP slop, and some of these films are good. I'm not going to say that they're not, but it just, I don't know, like, do you feel any sort of, like, I guess other than, like, we have Obsession, and we also have Backrooms, even though Backrooms is kind of IP. No, Backrooms is IP, I would consider it. We have a film like Obsession, shake up things, so that's nice, but aren't you, like, a little tired of just, like, the same stories?
A little bit. I think there just needs to be, like, there needs to be a good balance. Because IP is what allows these studios to make these big swings, to take the financial risks, right? That's why they're called tentpole films. It's so these, hold up the tent, they hold up the studio, they make the money so that they can try more interesting things and try some new things. Like if Universal didn't have, you know, its big franchises, they wouldn't be able to have their side studio focus features, which then goes and acquires these like smaller films, right? That's just how this system works. I will say, I do feel like this is some of the best IP films that we've, like, just the quality of IP films have gotten much better over the past couple of years. And so I can't necessarily say I'm upset because I'm enjoying it, right? Like I said, it's a necessary thing. So I'm just kind of, as long as what they're giving me is good, and within that they're sprinkling in the new stuff like Obsession, I mean, that's just how it is. That's how it's always been, right? It's just we forget all the garbage IP, you know, slop films that come out over the years. They just kind of boil, you know, bunch up into like in the back of our brains. So it's just how it always. It's just how it always is. I just think it's super, super prevalent this summer because just the like the amount of big IPs. Like there's just a lot of returning franchises this summer. So I think that's why it's more.
It feels like if you gave like a kid in the 90s, and like what would be the movies that we'd want to watch, like all in like the future in like a weekend. They said like, I want a Mortal Kombat movie and Masters of the Universe and a Supergirl movie and a like, you know, like shit like that. Like yeah, but it's cool. It's cool. Sorry, you were continuing.
Yeah. No, you're good. I finished my thought. All right, so let's move into some news. I honestly only have one thing I wanted to mention. I know Nick has a couple animation stuff to talk about, so I'll just say mine. It was, I don't know if it was confirmed. Well, okay, this was confirmed, and then there's talks about this. So Jim Carrey is in talk to slip back into the green for How the Grinch Stole Christmas sequel with Ron Howard back in the director's chair. So from my understanding, the movie is confirmed. They're making a sequel to How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But Jim Carrey's return is what's not confirmed 100%. I honestly think he's going to come. I doubt he would want anyone else in that. I'm surprised that they're making this, just because Jim Carrey has gone on record saying how hard the production of the first one was. You know, I think it was like 6 hours in the makeup chair every morning. Like he had to have like an army professional that like talks people through like actual torture to like help him get through it. Like it was a very intensive process. And like you can tell, like obviously in the movie, like he completely falls into the role. Like he's fantastic as the Grinch, obviously. It's classic for a reason. I'm just surprised, I guess, that he would want that he would be willing to come back for this. But also, if I was him, I wouldn't want anyone else taking up that role. Like, that's his role, you know? So, listen, I love Jim Carrey. I've literally... the other day, when I had that double, I had a 2-hour break in between my 2 shifts. I went home and I just plopped in my Truman Show VHS tape and watched like 30 minutes of it. And he's just such a great performer. I love Jim Carrey so much. And so when I saw this headline, I couldn't help but be excited. Just because... it's something that I guess you would have thought that they would have done already. And maybe they waited this long because they've come up with new techniques to make it more doable. I don't know. I'm curious what the story's going to be. I'm curious what the reason is. I'm happy Ron Howard is back in the director's chair because I feel like he understood the style and the vibe of the movie. Like, he was great. You know, like I said, the first one is a classic for a reason. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I really do hope that Jim Carrey gets confirmed to return, because I don't even know anyone else that could do something similar, just because he's such a one-of-one actor.
I would say Jeremy Allen White. You know, he's a pretty good role. No, I'm kidding. Definitely. I don't think there's an actor that we have currently, like in this generation, that has really let loose the way Jim Carrey has in all of his films. I would love to see the next Jim Carrey, or just the next new kind of person that fits his phenotype of actor. But we definitely don't have one currently, and I can't imagine anybody else being the Grinch. Maybe Benedict Cumberbatch. Unfortunately, not based on his other Grinch performance. What did you think of that Grinch movie? Did you like it? I thought it was all right.
Um, Listen, I watched it like once when it came out in theaters in 2018. If I don't even know if I could tell you a single thing that happened in that movie, just because I watch so many movies. I mean, we both do, right? And so it's kind of hard for me to remember one that I watched in 7th grade when I was, years ago. I remember thinking it was fine. It was just like a Grinch movie. I was also that age where I was like, I can't watch animated films. Those are for kids, So I was like, everybody goes through that phase in middle school. So I don't know. I maybe it deserves a rewatch. Maybe I'll rewatch it during this season. But also, I don't know why I would when I could just plop in this original when it's, obviously better.
That's very true. Yeah, like I said, I can't imagine anybody else doing it like what you said too. I can't imagine anybody else doing it like he would. I know he's like older right now, so who knows if he'll have like the same, I guess, bounciness that he did in the first one. Or if they'll like play on that.
Yeah, they'll probably write that
into a thing.
Yeah, they'll probably write that in and make it like the Grinch is older now and whatever. I don't know.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, how are they gonna like make, or what could they possibly be thinking for like a Grinch sequel? Something that I don't think the original Dr. Seuss did. I mean, I don't know. He did a lot of weird things, so I don't know if that's something that he would have done or not. But
I don't think I've ever heard of a Grinch sequel personally. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just think he made like he made like a Cat in the Hat 2 book, and I was like, oh, I think I might actually be spreading misinformation right now, but
I'm fact checking.
Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, go ahead. But
I'm telling you right now, we are not.
But yeah, we'll see.
We're not reviewing the Cat in the Hat movie. That shit looks awful, and he and he did.
It does. Okay, cool.
The Cat in the Hat comes back.
There you go. That's what I mean. So yeah, well, it's not like it's completely unheard of. I'm not like a Puritan in that sense. I just don't think. We'll see. We'll see what happens when it comes out. I can't think about these movies anymore.
So he did.
I can't give them any more like energy.
It's titled Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Lost Christmas.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So I
wonder if it's any good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it is. I've never heard of it, but.
Yeah, me neither. That's what I mean. How the Grinch Lost Christmas? Interesting.
Wait a minute.
Well, maybe, who knows if they'll like stick.
Oh, but it's not written by Dr. Seuss. It's like whoever's continuing the Dr. Seuss estate.
I see.
So I don't know.
I got you.
We'll see. But yeah, I was pretty surprised when I saw that headline, so I wanted to bring it up. Nick, I know you got some stuff, so lay it on us.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off, I wanted to just mention the Spider-Man trailer.
Yes.
That came out.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on the Spider-Man trailer?
Yeah, that was a fantastic trailer. I'm really, really loving how they're continuing to really not show us much. It was just revealed. I mean, we all kind of knew this, but it was revealed the other day that we haven't seen any promotional footage of the main villain of the movie yet. Like Tom Holland said that yesterday. And I think that's just so cool. I'm not honestly surprised because the last movie hid the Spider-Man, like the 3 Spider-Man from the marketing. So clearly they know people are going to show up to these Spider-Man movies regardless what they have in it. So they want to keep the big juicy surprises for the movie. I don't know. Like, I feel like this Man-Spider thing might be a cover-up for a symbiote movie. I feel like we might be getting a symbiote movie. I don't know. There's also theories that he's, like, gonna die at the end of this movie and then get revived by the symbiote, which would be crazy. I don't know. I just think this is such an exciting time to be a Spider-Man fan. We're really winning. I mean, this is so cool. I think just talking about the trailer itself, like the shots look absolutely stunning. Like it looks like a real fucking movie, like the same way that like the Tobey Maguire ones did. I love the suit so much. I think Scorpion looks awesome. I think all the stuff with Punisher looks cool. I don't know. I'm just so incredibly excited for this movie. I already have my tickets. I got the Amazon Prime like early access, like Wednesday night showings. So I think that's for the 29th. So a little bit over a month. Incredibly excited. It's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be great. Spider-Man Hive, we stay up. What did you think of the trailer?
Yeah, I thought it was spectacular as well. That's a very interesting theory about like him dying and then being revived.
That's not a theory I have. It's a rumor I read online.
Okay. Well, yeah. I could see that being a thing. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, the way that we're gonna talk about Destin Daniel Cretton after this is gonna be like, he's not just a Superman. He's a
he's not just a man. He's not just a Superman. Bro, so good.
That's what I mean. No, he really is. Like the way he's moving. If this movie turns, I mean, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be at least good. So I'm not really worried about whether I'm gonna like it or not. But yeah, it's just gonna be incredible. I didn't know that we hadn't seen any of the main villain either. I was thinking symbiote, especially after like the whole eye situation that we see going on in the trailer.
Yeah, I think they're trying to I think they're trying to sell that to us as like the Man Spider transformation, and I think that's a cool misdirect because like visually, I guess they do look similar, right? So I don't know. I think it's cool, but also I wouldn't mind if it's Man Spider because I think that's such an ambitious idea for a Spider-Man film. I think that's just such a cool way to take the character. Like, I think honestly, it's a win-win. You know, like I'm not getting my hopes up too high because obviously we're gonna get that Venom eventually because you know we got him in the post-credit scene. So I'm honestly excited either way this is gonna go. Yeah, what I need to know is what the fuck the Hand is doing in this movie. Why are the Hand in this movie, and why are they focusing so heavily on them in the promotion? That is what I'm curious about, and what I'm so excited to find out. And how is Daredevil not going to be in this movie? That's what I need to know. How do you have the Punisher? How do you have the Hand? And you have a fight scene with the Hand taking place in a prison when Daredevil is currently in jail. I mean, I just think that would be a complaint of mine in the movie, is that literally wouldn't make sense for him not to be in it.
I almost want Daredevil to not show up just to see how he
I would probably react
and like how they would explain it.
You would probably see a generational crash out from me.
Yeah, what I also want to know is who's Sadie Sink? Do you think Sadie Sink is Jean Grey?
Yeah, I do.
Like straight up? Yeah, I've heard also theories that like it doesn't make sense to introduce Jean Grey, especially if they're gonna reset the Marvel universe after Secret Wars.
Well, they've already said that they're gonna keep bits and pieces. I think so. I think they're just gonna really try and tie Spider-Man, like, because I mean, Spider-Man's kind of a mutant, right? He wasn't born with a power.
Yeah.
Like,
Spider-Man,
he's kind of a mutant. So I see the connection.
Has had some sort of relation,
right? I see the connection.
At least in this. And in this movie, they're also pushing like the mutation aspect of it, like his DNA is mutating.
Exactly, and I don't know. I saw people say, "What if the villain is Mr. Sinister, like a secret Mr. Sinister?" That would be insane. Like, I don't know. The possibilities really are so crazy. But I think just the amount of secrecy over the Sadie Sink thing, I think it has to be Jean Grey. Because why else is she in Secret Wars? Why else is she the only character that Kevin Feige paused his work on Doomsday and stuff to cast? I think it would be weird if not, but I'm sure, I don't know, like I have hope, and if it's not Jean Grey, then I'm sure, I don't know, we'll see. I guess we'll see, right? I don't know.
We'll see.
I'm curious to find out, but yeah, overall, great trailer. I love the Punisher stuff. I think the Punisher stuff looks so cool. And I don't know.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, it's almost like they designed this movie like perfectly for me. So I'm very, very. Oh, the Hulk looks awesome. The Hulk looks great. Oh, yeah. I'm happy we have the Hulk. This is literally the first time we've seen the Hulk since Infinity War, like a real version of the Hulk. And bro, he looks awesome. He looks really good. Yeah, I don't know.
And I can't wait for that Scar cameo. Oh my god, I'm really dying.
Yeah, like I said, Daredevil. No, he was at that cookout with the Hulk. So that's just another connection of Daredevil to be in this movie.
What does bro know, bro? It's. I mean, listen. It's honestly, in all my estimations, I genuinely do believe it's gonna happen. Like, there's no way we're not gonna get a Daredevil cameo. It genuinely wouldn't make sense for there not to be a Daredevil cameo.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
But if it doesn't happen, I just laugh so heavily.
No, yeah. Laugh. Like, I'm not saying he's gonna get broken out of jail. You know, Matt Murdock is a man of law. He's not gonna willingly. You know, he willingly gave himself up for the justice system. But I do think that, like, the Hand, or maybe the Hand, is gonna try and kill him or something. Because I think that they're bringing back a lot of the Defenders stuff, like the Hand. I think that's going to be involved in the next season of Daredevil. There's rumors that Elektra is coming back, because the actress who played Elektra was, like, training in the gym again, with, like, I believe the same trainer as she used to have. I don't know if that's true, but I don't know. I just think it'd be cool. Imagine if Elektra's in here. I think that's too far-fetched. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm very curious. Very excited.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. So, July 31st. So it's gonna be a fun time.
July's gonna be killer of anticipation.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So I guess moving on from that, I do have more non-related animation news that I just want to get through. Focus Features, Warner Brothers, and A24 and Netflix have passed on acquiring Luca Guadagnino's, like, artificial movie based on Sam Altman's life.
Oh, I did hear about this. Yes.
Yeah. Mubi and Neon are still interested in distributing the film, but it was originally going to be distributed by MGM, but after Amazon's work with OpenAI or Chat, I don't know which one, an AI company, they decided not to go forward and distribute it. So we'll see what ends up happening with this movie. I didn't even know about its existence until Warner Brothers had the news that they weren't going to distribute it anymore. So I'm interested to see what this even looks like, what it is, how Luca Guadagnino's, like, take on essentially making another Social Network, but with Luca Guadagnino's perspective. I don't know.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield is playing Sam Altman in it, right? So
yeah,
I love Andrew Garfield. So I hope we do see this movie at some point. Just also, I don't think any movie should ever get, like, fridged like that, like how Batgirl did. Oh, even if it's an awful movie, I think it deserves to be seen and judged by the general public, and for us to get our verdict on it. So, yeah, we'll see if it ever comes out.
It does. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's like a good headline. So I do think we will see it. I think some smaller company will adopt it eventually, but also could be wrong, because maybe OpenAI is trying to bury it. Maybe it paints them in a really negative picture. I think we'll have to see. I was a little surprised when I first heard that they were making the movie, just because I was like, oh, we're doing this already.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, it feels a little early for, like, the story of Sam Altman to be finished, because he's also, like, kind of a young man. I mean, I don't know. That we also don't know what the story even is. I feel like Luca Guadagnino is a talented director, so he could, like, focus on a specific aspect. Obviously, the aspect that we all care about, AI, of his life. I mean, so I don't know. Well, like I said, it just feels a little early to, like, really make this movie, but if it's made, I'm sure there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it comes out, when it comes out, and what comes out of it. Yeah. Did you have any other thoughts on that? Sorry.
No, not really. You can keep moving on.
All right. Cool. So this was literally just announced a few minutes before we started the podcast. A new Blair Witch movie will be released in September 24th, 2027. And it has the original film directors and new executive producers.
Hell yeah, that's cool.
Oh wait, no, sorry, my bad. The directors of the original film are going to be executive producing this new film. So cool. That's how that's working. Yeah. And then finally, I guess we'll just move into animation news. I'm just gonna shotgun these real quickly.
Mm-hmm.
First off, dynamic duo follows. We got some new information on the plot details. Follows Jason and Dick as the duo of the street rats who named themselves the dynamic duo. The duo split up as Dick ends up joining Batman while Jason joins the Red Hood gang. Seems like an interesting kind of relationship, sort of.
I'm getting more and more vibes that this is not going to be DCU. This is just going to be its own thing.
It might be like an Elseworld thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if they're gonna, like,
because it's been like ever since they announced it, it was like in a super gray area where they're like it's undecided whether it'll be DCU or Elseworlds. And I just want to say I'm really glad that James Gunn is letting DC to like experiment with all that stuff. I just want to see. I don't want them to get too far into production without making. I'm sure internally they've already decided what they're doing with it, but I wish they would just let us know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, does it really? I sometimes think, like, does it really matter if it's Elseworlds or DCU? Just because, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm more interested in, like, the story of the actual film rather it connecting it to other films. Not that I'm saying like you're like, you know, other people aren't, but more like, what are we sacrificing in terms of, like, if it is connected to it, or if we can just have it the liberty of being itself. And for a project that's like kind of weirdly ambitious in like what it's trying to do style wise, and also I guess what it's trying to do story wise too, because like I don't think we've ever gotten like a solo Robin movie, even though this is 2 Robins. But
no, yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, for a project like this. Yeah, it's very cool. And like, so for a project like this to have like the constraints of a universe that isn't even built yet, that is all like speculation as to I mean, I'm sure they have like groundwork as to how they're going to do it internally, but up to this point it's all like speculation as to what would happen, what's going to happen with Batman, what's going to happen with all these other characters. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like for this movie to just be its own thing. Or I wouldn't mind if this movie was just its own thing and was just given that liberty to be like, yeah, do what you wish, do what you want. We're not going to bother you because this is also like an animated product, an animated project, and those have very different pipelines than live action ones, obviously. So that doesn't need really any more disturbance than the involvement of a hypothetical universe surrounding it. So yeah, I don't necessarily mind that. And then just moving on, I wanted to mention this real quickly. A new Tom and Jerry movie is being worked on, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because apparently it's a La La Land style comedy. The film follows Tom and Jerry, who are both
adopted call it a comedy. I would like to call La La Land a comedy, but okay.
Well, a rom-com.
Okay.
The cat and the mouse then launch a campaign to destroy each other and the couple's relationship. I'm into it. Low-key, I'm into it. I saw some, like, I don't know who's working on it, but it seems, I don't know. I like Tom and Jerry. Do you like Tom and Jerry? Oh yeah, it's being worked on by Rashida Jones, by the way, who also is writing The Invite.
Cool.
Or participating on The Invite.
Yeah, so, I do like Tom and Jerry. I don't love Tom and Jerry, but
yeah,
definitely, like, it was, you know, a franchise I liked as a kid, so I don't mind another movie. So I'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Moving on. This is pretty big, actually. Do you know about the show Has Been Hotel, Alon? Or Hell of a
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it though.
Okay, well, the creator of Has Been Hotel, Vivian Medrano, is making a new 2D animated film for Warner Brothers called Prehistoria. You know, she has a very unique style when it comes to both her style of animation and her style of writing and directing. Some would say it's crass and too much and just kind of shock value for the sake of being shock value. We'll see what and also Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss are both adult animated films or shows. So, you know, well, I guess we don't really know if this is for kids specifically, but it looks pretty aimed at that demographic based on the one image that they showed. And so we'll see what this turns into. 2D animation back in theater, folks. Thank you, Vivian Medrano. The monkey's paw curls yet again. And also, this is somewhat interesting. Keanu Reeves is in talks to star in the live-action CGI hybrid Lego movie.
Okay, interesting.
By Josh Cooley, the guy who did Transformers 1. And also Toy Story 4.
Oh, hell yeah. That's fire. I love the Lego movie, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's just like, I didn't even know they were working on that. And Josh Cooley seems like the guy to do it. Another quick one. A new Powerpuff Girls movie is in the works at Warner Brothers. And I'm actually quite excited for this. I'm a big Powerpuff Girls fan. So yeah, they didn't really give us much information other than that, but then they just revealed it and said that it was coming out. But yeah, I'm down for that. Not finally. One more thing, a Thundercats movie is in the works at Warner Brothers Animation, so it's probably going to do as well as Masters of the Universe did. That's pretty much that. And finally, Illumination is working on a new original animated film starring Timothée Chalamet and Selena Gomez called Not Alone. And it follows a mechanic and an astronaut who had 3 aliens that come to Earth for safety. This looks interesting. This looks more compelling than Sing or Secret Life of Pets or pretty much anything. What I'm trying to say is this looks like something that Illumination is actually trying to make into a real film. Let's see how much they deliver on that. But this could be special. And also based off Minions and Monsters, what we were talking about earlier too, where it feels like they're trying to beat the slop allegations a little bit. So we'll see if they do. And
interesting. Yeah,
that is it for me.
The day before this was announced, Timothée Chalamet was like, new movie announced tomorrow. And so I saw some people thinking it was going to be a The Wonka sequel. So I guess it's a little bit more of an interesting announcement than that. So pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Let's move into what we watched. I quickly want to mention, I only really watched one thing this week that I want to mention is that horror film Leviticus. And yeah, I thought it was fine. I think it had some pretty cool and interesting ideas. Essentially, it's about these two guys who are in an environment where they're not really able to be together because of homophobia, and it's more like a religious type of community. And there is this like priest that does this thing to these two boys that are caught as being gay with each other, and then after that they start being possessed by a demon that essentially takes the form of the person that they love most, which in the context of this movie obviously is each other. And so I think that's a really cool like concept for a movie.
Interesting. That's a very interesting premise.
Unfortunately, I don't think they did enough with that. I think there's definitely some cool moments, but they could have gone a lot harder. This is a very small scale movie. It's only an hour and 28 minutes. And so for what it is, I think it's fine. It was all right. It was a decent watch. I think some good performances, some decent tension and ambiance. But I think they just, with this type of concept, they could have gone so much deeper into the psychological, like fucking with the people, because it's like you're being hunted by an entity that looks like the thing that you love the most, right? That would fuck with you. And I don't know if they went deep enough into that. But yeah, it was a fun time. Not a fun time. It was a fine time. 2 great performances by the 2 leads, and then everyone else was kind of iffy. It's definitely a very small, low-budget movie, but it was... I don't regret watching it in theaters. I thought there was one good jump scare in there that really got me. But yeah, I just wish they kind of went more into it, kind of went harder, went darker, made it a little bit more scary. I think could have made it a little bit better. But overall, pretty decent horror movie, and it's continuing the streak of good horror this year. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Interesting. Hell yeah. Yeah, I didn't even know this movie Well, I heard about it before it came out. I just like by its name. I didn't know anything about it though, and I just skipped it just because. Yeah.
Yeah, I went in not knowing.
But that's a really interesting premise.
I went in not knowing what it was about. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Leviticus, check it out.
Yeah, do you have anything that you watched that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I didn't watch too many things. I'll just mention this one thing because it's relevant. I watched the last episode of The Amazing Digital Circus, the last act, it's called.
Is that what they were playing in theaters?
Yes, so they were playing in theaters the second to last episode and the last episode, which is
okay. How long are they?
For an hour. So it depends. Like it's not like a fixed time. I think the second to last is an hour, and I think the last one is an hour and a half. Let me fact check that real quickly. So yeah, the last one is an hour, and then the second to last one is, why is it not telling me? 30 minutes. So in total, an hour and a half movie theater experience. Not bad.
Okay.
And yeah, it's the ending itself, it was okay. I wasn't super, without getting into spoilers, I wasn't super into, I guess, the lore aspect of what was going on in the Amazing Digital Circus, of like the digital aspect of it all, whether it was like a simulation or their consciousness or whatever. Like that part wasn't very interesting to me or compelling, and I feel like regardless, they spent a lot of time on that throughout the end of the season, and then for it to not really pay off at all in the end and the final episode, which kind of sucked. But more than anything, I was into the interpersonal relationships of these characters in this like messed up, fucked up world. And I feel like on that end they delivered. You know, it became something sentimental and emotional. And also, regardless of anything, visually interesting, which is one of the reasons why I started watching this show to begin with. I have like some other gripes that I could mention with like personal character decisions and whatnot here and other, but it would be more spoilery, and I kind of don't really want to go into that. What I'll say is, I do recommend the whole show overall if this is like your kind of cup of tea, if this is something that you would regularly watch. If not, it's just kind of more like like how do I say it, like, you know, like an adult show for babies, kind of. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, you know, some parts are just incredibly infantilized, which also really bother me, unfortunately, which is why I can't give this like a full like recommendation to anyone. It's definitely a certain style, it's definitely a certain sense of humor that you have to be already kind of like familiar and find funny. But you know, I'm also more than anything just amazed at the fact that this exists and it got the attention that it did, it got the traction that it did, it got a whole theatrical release. Just this completely started off YouTube, and then it became, you know, then it went up to Netflix, and then, you know, just seeing that whole process exist, happen in real time, was crazy and incredible. And, you know, despite the fan base being what it is, it's, you know, they also wouldn't have brought it to where it is currently without them, without how much noise they make. So yeah, I don't know, it's just a feat unto itself. It's a great show, considering that it's free, that it was like completely worked on by like a team of people, but like, you know, releasing it for free on YouTube. And yeah, if it piques any of your interest, I would 100% check it out.
Yeah, I can say it does, so I don't think I'm ever gonna check it out.
That's fine.
But I am glad that people enjoy it.
Hell yeah, brother. That's what it's all about. That's yeah.
All right. Are we good to move into our main feature?
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna start with a quick summary off the internet, and then here we go for spoiler-free and then spoiler thoughts. Here we go. Buzz, Woody, Jessie, and the rest of the gang come face to face with LilyPad, a brand new tablet device that arrives with her own disruptive ideas about what the best is for Bonnie. Will playtime ever be the same? I'll start us off. I really, really liked this movie. I liked it more than I thought I would. I guess we'll start with the animation. Thought the animation was beautiful. I think in Toy Story 4, for context, I don't like Toy Story 4. I've only ever seen it once. Some of the scenes in Toy Story 4, the animation looks almost too photorealistic, and they dialed it back just a teeny bit in this movie, and I think it works really well. Like, there's just that one scene of Woody in the rain. Is it the opening of Toy Story 4?
Yeah, it's the opening.
Okay, yeah, I hate that scene. I don't know. It just looks, something about it doesn't work for me. And I think that's like my biggest problem with that, or one of my biggest problems is just the way it looks. It's too much into the photorealism, and they dialed that back here, and so the animation was stunning, gorgeous, the best the franchise has ever looked. I think the decision to have Jessie essentially be the main character of this movie was awesome, because she's always been such a great addition to the Toy Story franchise. Toy Story 2 is my favorite. Is it? It's always between 2 and 3. I think it is 2. Toy Story 2 is my favorite. I love Jessie as a character, and I was very worried when I found out we would kind of be diving into the stuff with her original owner. Before the release of the movie, that's not a spoiler. That was revealed in promotional stuff. And I was very worried how they were going to handle it, but I think it was tackled really, really well. And I don't know, I thought it was very heartfelt and emotional, but not emotionally manipulative like a lot of Pixar stuff is. Like, I just think earned emotional moments was great. I thought Buzz and Woody were great in this movie. I love seeing their dynamic. It's like seeing old friends all over again, but more grown up. I really like the stuff of like Woody being old and aging. I think that was funny, but I guess Jessie should also be aging, right? But they don't really show that. But I guess the bit is that like she's like being played with and he's like on the run, right? So I guess that's why the aging stuff happens. I don't know. I thought there was just a lot of good visual gags in here. I really liked this is the first movie that I didn't absolutely hate Bonnie. They actually made me like Bonnie, which is a really big thumbs up for them, because that's super important. I never liked Bonnie as much as I liked Andy. I like the new girl that they introduced in this movie, Blaze, I believe her name was. She was a great character, and I hope we do actually get a Toy Story 6 so we can continue their relationship, because I think it was really cool. I don't know, I just think the overall plot of the movie was great, about Bonnie not being able to find her people, like her friends, and a generation of people that are addicted to screens and all that. And I thought it was super topical. I thought it was very well handled. Kind of felt relatable. It's something that we've all been through when we were younger. We all have, children have difficulties expressing their emotions and how they feel. And I feel like this movie showed that really well. I just think it was a very well-crafted movie. Not at all what I expected, because when they announced the Toy Story 5, I thought it was going to be just a lame cash grab. And I'm happy to report that it was not. I had a great time with it. What did you think, Ben?
Yeah, I also agree to an extent. I also do think I had a better experience with Toy Story 5 than Toy Story 4. I also did not like Toy Story 4 when it initially came out. I kind of want to give it a rewatch, just like because I've heard mixed things ever since it came out, and I know that my enjoyment of that film was heavily impacted by the fact of it existing in the first place and my love for Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is definitely my favorite of the franchise. It's the only one that I saw in theaters, and it's the one that I have like the biggest like emotional, I guess, memories towards. And also I do just subjectively think it's like the best. It might be the best film of the franchise, depending on what you're looking for in it.
It's just a very it's a very strong franchise, right? So
it's a very strong franchise. Yeah, no, and Toy Story 3 is a very strong ending to that trilogy that it's hard to kind of, I guess, think of the other two movies in a sort of like on the same level, even though they're both like they're all equally great. Like I just feel like Toy Story 3 is just whatever. Point being, this isn't a review about Toy Story 3. So yeah, so like I said, my opinion of Toy Story 4 at the one time that I saw it was heavily impacted by its existence in the first place. So I do want to give it another shot, but I definitely like this film a lot more than Toy Story 4. I thought it was more in the spirit of Toy Story. I thought it made more sense as to where it was going, like with the characters and with what they're doing. I guess my biggest issues with it were just like the nostalgia baiting aspects of the film. Like for example, I do really like the like Buzz and Woody's relationship being back to the way it was, like them arguing, but I couldn't help but roll my eyes when the, I don't remember who said it, I don't know if it was the pig or Mr. Potato Head, but one of them said like, oh look, it's nice to see them back fighting again like how they were.
Fuck. Actually, you're right. It's definitely one of those two characters. I think it was the pig.
Yeah, I think it was him too. But and then like other things like that, like the constant reminders of what was her name? The girl who had Jesse before, Emily? No, it wasn't Emily.
Yeah, it was.
It was Emily?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the constant reminders of Emily, like the flashbacks. You needed it for this film to work, for like the emotional arc of Jesse to make sense. I don't mind necessarily opening on a flashback. I just think, I don't know, I almost think it would have been more interesting, like showing something, a new memory with Emily instead of like the same ones that we kept seeing over in Toy Story 2. I'm also just like, this might be a hot take. Toy Story 2 is a great movie. Me personally, I was never the biggest fan of it, even as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So I mean, that, there's no accounting for taste, obviously.
Yeah, no, I just like bad movies is the thing. So yeah.
And you don't like good movies.
Yeah, and I don't like good movies, exactly. So no, I mean, I like Toy Story 2. This is also good. I always thought I never thought Jesse was that interesting of a character. So I wanted to just stick with Woody and Buzz throughout the whole film, and then when we would switch to her thing, I'd always be like, ugh, I kind of want to skip as a kid. But whatever. Point being, so regardless of that though, I was in tune with the fact that they made her a main character in this film, and it worked. I feel like it worked. I was sold on her. Also, something that I didn't notice until you brought it up was, yeah, I do agree that they made Bonnie a way better written character. I feel like in the other two,
more interesting and more relatable.
More interesting. They gave her more of a personality. In the other two films, she was kind of just like another kid. Could have been any other background kid. But in this film, they definitely gave her more to do. They gave her more of a personality. I like her story as well, where like she's a more introverted kid who like doesn't really get it. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of this film worked for me.
Yeah.
And the things that didn't work for me were the things that I could kind of tell were notes, were like studio notes or like, yeah, pretty much that, like studio notes and or like reminders to the audience of like nostalgia bait, like, oh, this is what you wanted, right?
Can we move into spoilers so we can talk about specifically
absolutely
like what problem? Yeah, so this is gonna be your spoiler warning. One thing that kind of did bother me is the locking of a majority of the side characters in a box for most of the movie. That was unfortunate because I feel like a lot of the magic of the first three is that it really is an ensemble piece, right? Like we have our focus on Woody and Buzz and then obviously Jesse later on, but every one of the side characters, I think maybe even Toy Story 2 does it the best, where every side character, Rex, Slinky, Potato Head, all of them have something to do. All of them they're not just there just to be there. And I feel like they definitely didn't know what to do with them in this movie, which is unfortunate. And maybe a lot of their screen time was given to the Army of Buzz's plotline, which I really liked. And so I'm not saying that shouldn't have been in the movie. I think that was a great, especially that moment where the Buzz gets like played with and then kind of gives a thumbs up to his squad. I just thought that was such a touching and beautiful moment. So I'm not saying that they should have gotten rid of this plot line, but I'm saying maybe the space for those characters got taken up by it. So that's just something I have on my mind. I didn't love the tech. Other than Lilypad, I liked Lilypad as a villain. I thought she was great. Great performance by Greta Lee. Awesome. The like toy tech, like the one by Conan O'Brien, and then the other two. Do you know what I'm talking? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Didn't love them. Found them a little annoying. By the end, they grew on me. And I understood their purpose in the movie, and I thought they were fine. But I don't know. I didn't love them, and I think maybe their stuff could have been done with the other toys. I don't know. I get it, like, wanting to introduce new characters, because also you sell the toys of the new characters. Mm-hmm. Right? So I get it, but those are just my nitpicks on it. I thought that, yeah, I don't know, maybe their arcs could have been better, or they could have had more to do, or I don't know. I didn't love it. I did like this thing of like Jesse essentially being racist, right? That I was definitely getting. Yeah. I was definitely I was getting a lot of those vibes, and like that was fine. I don't know. I just think they could have handled that element better. Like whenever they were on screen, I was like, oh, okay. Like I'm excited to cut to the next thing where we see either the Army of Buzzes or the Woody and Buzz plotline or whatever it is. That's just one part I didn't necessarily love. Also, this is the first Toy Story movie without "You've Got a Friend in Me," so that kind of stuff. I was looking forward to hearing that, and we didn't. So,
I'll say, every single opinion you just had, I feel the opposite. I agree that we could have had more screen time with the OG crew, but I do think it was kind of a smarter move to put them to the wayside, so that we could focus on these new characters, not just for the sake of like selling more toys, even though that is very true, but also just like giving them the opportunity to breathe, and also because like in general, this is the 5th film of this franchise, and we have so many characters already. You know, the reason those characters to begin with were given so much attention was because like we had the space for them. You know, they were still new. They were still learning about them. Now that we've entered this like scope creep, these are like essentially the toys of 3 different kids, being part of like one ensemble. You know, and I liked the tech. I think I also do just like Conan O'Brien. I'm a big fan of his comedic stylings, and I really love the introduction, his toys introduction, where he's pretty much just drunk. That's another thing.
He was just so annoying. I don't know. It's so
you thought it was. I thought it was hilarious. I
don't know.
I want to say I do think
the poop jokes got so.
I think the poop jokes were a little much. Like, but yeah. You know, he is like a potty training toy, so like it is expected to that extent. I didn't love it, but I was like, I'm okay with this. I will say, like, I do feel like this film, or the comedy of this film was leaning more towards like mature, like especially with that like drunk scene. And I appreciated that because I felt like even with Hoppers, you know, Hoppers was great, but it was definitely more like for kids, you know what I mean? And this movie is also for kids, but they definitely up the ante a little bit in a subtle way. They up the ante on the maturity of where the comedy was going. Like, for example, or not just the comedy, but also like the themes, like for example, the racism, and also like that whole scene where he was like drunk essentially, and other things here and there, like other. Yeah, I appreciated that. Just to like, I don't know, take the audience a little bit more seriously. What was the?
I thought. Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I also liked the you know, other than Conan O'Brien, I liked the camera and I liked the phone. Atlas and Snappy, Shoddy, something like that. No, definitely Shoddy.
Alice and Snappy.
Yeah, Snappy. Okay, yeah. I you know, they weren't as big characters as Conan's was. And I didn't necessarily mind that either. I also like their voice actors. As Snappy was, I believe, Peridot in Steven Universe, so sometimes when she would talk I would just hear her and I'd be like, oh yep, that's the same voice actor.
Alice is Craig Robinson, which is great. I love Craig
that
Robinson.
too. I really like him too. I'm not as familiar with him, but he was good. And the other like tech characters here and there I thought were nice as well. I don't know, I do love that OG crew, of course, but I didn't mind that. I didn't mind them just like taking a little bit of a back burner because also if they were included, we would have to include Bonnie's toys, and I'm not the biggest fan of Bonnie's toys.
I'm glad they never really focused much on those. I could give less of a fuck about those. I will say I did audibly sigh whenever a Toy Story 4 character would show up. I think the one that got the biggest, like, what the fuck, was the Duke Kaboom character, the Keanu Reeves one.
He was just like there for like a second.
I was just like, I was really worried for a second. I was like, oh no, don't tell me they're gonna be part of this, because they weren't like, I didn't even know Bo Peep was in the movie because they're not in the trailers, right? I just figured they just kind of like don't bring them up. But they are. They're like in the beginning. Like they don't even pay Key and Peele, like the Ducky and Buddy. Don't have any lines. Like, I don't know. I guess it's whatever, the connective tissue. But I don't care. I don't like Forky either. I really don't like Forky. And I was worried that they were. I thought the bit with like his girlfriend, the knife, being really dumb was hilarious.
I thought that was good.
And so I'm really glad that they used Forky for that instead of like using him for anything else, because I can't stand Forky, dude.
He was really unbearable in that fourth film, and I feel like he was almost, like I said, he was almost put there because the film was trying to be like maybe a little bit more serious, maybe a little bit more like realistic and dramatic, and just this completely tone terrorizing character called Forky in the middle of this whole like kind of serious Toy Story. It doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense at all.
I really like the bit of Lilypad like scanning the QR code on Buzz's back to make him fly. Thought that was great. Just a great use of like the idea of like tech and whatever. I don't know. I just thought it was a great message. Like the anti-iPad, like you gotta socialize, and yes, technology isn't all bad, but it's still, you gotta go outside and make real friends, make real connections, and people turning into couch zombies. I don't know. I thought it was just a great message, and I hope kids watching it, like subconsciously somewhere in their brain, something will click. Maybe.
For sure.
Yeah, I had a great time.
I thought it was more appropriate.
I had a great time with it.
More appropriate for the time that it's coming out. I said last week that a review said that it justifies its existence, and I said that it wouldn't. But I'll take that back. I do believe it justifies its existence.
Very much so. Definitely more than number 4. Definitely more than number 4. And at this point, I wouldn't mind a number 6, so we have a Bonnie trilogy and make it focus on Buzz. And, speaking of Buzz, my last thought on this movie, they retconned Lightyear. I am so fucking happy about that. That shit meant a lot to me. When he told the Buzzes that, like, Zurg was their father, because that was, like, a really big thing with Lightyear, where, like, Zurg ended up being the future version of him. Isn't that what it was? I don't even remember. That shit was so bad.
Something like that.
But they pretty much... Really? Okay. So, in Lightyear, like, it's revealed that Zurg is, like, a time-traveling version of Buzz that goes crazy. I don't remember. I've seen that movie once.
Okay.
But they pretty much change it to where Zurg isn't, Buzz's father. And like I said, Toy Story 2 is my favorite. I love that whole plot line. And they retconned that here, which makes me very, very happy. So, yeah.
One other thing I'll mention is I did not like the Army of Buzzes. I thought they were... I was waiting for them to, like, I didn't find them particularly funny, or, like, interesting, their whole, like, journey of, like, finding Star Command or whatever, and I was just kind of, like, waiting for them to, like, do something to, like, actually, for their appearance to be, like, meaningful, especially when they open the film on these characters, and for it to just be, like, a climax payoff, where It was moreover just like a reason to have like a dramatic climax with like characters flying, and then like for like I felt like they built the story of Jesse and all the main toys, and they were like, oh fuck, but the toys need to go over here like really quickly, and how are they going to do that if they're not like people, or they can't do certain things. Let's like create this whole like B plot so that eventually they can have a reason to travel to this place really quickly or whatever. So like, that's kind of how it felt to me.
Here's what I'll say about that is when they were first originally announced, they were announced to be like an antagonistic villain sort of presence. So I think their story might have been tweaked during the production of the film, because they were supposed to be like antagonistic characters. Like they were announced as like an evil army of buzzes, right? So I'm curious at what point in production their plotline got changed or what. But if you look up like the original photos of Toy Story 5, like it's gonna be like first look at an evil army of buzzes, whatever. So that did get changed throughout production. So maybe if that didn't happen, you would have liked them more. But I can see where you're coming from. But I just thought they were fun. I like Buzz, so I didn't mind.
Yeah, I just didn't like how much time. I mean, it didn't even spend that much time on it, to be fair. But whenever they would cut to the buzzes, I would just be uninterested and kind of like check out. And yeah, they're definitely gonna make a Toy Story 6. There's no way that this is stopping at 5 at this point. And it feels appropriate. I'll say I'm down for it, just to give Bonnie a new trilogy. The weird thing about this franchise that I kind of realized was these characters feel like people that we're growing up with. And I guess you could say that about like most movie franchises to begin with, but something about Toy Story and the way that they write these characters and the stories that they choose to focus on with these characters are very much like kind of like existential horror, existential crisis sort of films. They always feel quite timely, and I feel like people, the way that I'm hearing people talk about these characters like Woody, Buzz, Jesse, whatever, yada yada, it doesn't feel like characters in a film. It feels like friends, or like people that we know, people that we already understand as like being real humans. And that's definitely what they're trying to give off as well, especially with like Woody aging the way that he does. I didn't love the Woody aging storyline, just because I mean it doesn't make sense to me, and I'll talk about this too in terms of the tech as well, but it didn't really make sense that Woody ages, like that he has a beer belly. The hair thing was funny, but the beer belly one, I was just like, that's kind of weird, and I don't really get that, and
it didn't make the most sense. Listen, it didn't make the most sense, but I did like it.
Sure, I can get it. You know, as a gag, it's fine. And and the other thing too that I'll mention is I didn't love how liberal they were with the use of tech. I loved like the characters, you know, Greta Lee especially, she's great. The joke that she mentioned, or whenever she would say like Jessica, I thought that shit was funny as fuck.
That was great.
Yeah, but I didn't love the way that like they did the whole like messaging internet online system, especially with Conan O'Brien's character being connected to it, and like how they would like connect Snappy and Atlas to Conan O'Brien, and then he would connect to the internet, and
that felt a little bit plot devicey. That's what I'm saying. I didn't love those characters. Like they were fine, but
did you not love them because you didn't think they were like particularly funny or interesting, or did you not love them because like they felt plot devicey?
Like both. Like they were like, I just didn't think the movie needed them.
Okay, fair. I don't know.
Like I see why.
I like the characters.
I see why they're there. I see why they're there. I don't know. Listen, there are 3 side characters in the Toy Story movie. In the 5th Toy Story movie, right? They're not going to be the best characters of all time, right? So maybe I'm being a little tough on them. No, for sure. But I don't know. Yeah, they were fine. All right, I think I'm being a bit negative on them. Like I did like some of their jokes. I liked the hippo one the most.
Yeah, Atlas. Yeah, he was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, like I can understand what you mean. I did like the way that they were, and like I said, like whenever they would do something like that, I'd be like, that's not how that should work, and it would take me out of the movie. But yeah, you know, then it would win me back with some other joke or gag. How did you feel about the voice actress of Jessie, Joan? something.
Yeah, she's great.
Joan Rivers.
She's great. I love her.
Yeah, great performances all around. Honestly, even from Buzz and Woody, I was quite surprised that they can still hold it, or they still got it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was just great seeing like my friends again on screen. Through older eyes, you know.
Yeah, and one more thing I'll have to say like negative about it is not just the Buzz army, but ever since Toy Story 4, they've just made Buzz stupid. And I don't love that.
That's what I'm saying. Toy Story 6 needs to redeem my boy.
Absolutely. I feel like if this is the Jessie movie, I feel like honestly the next one should be the Buzz movie.
Well, yeah, because 4 was Woody, 5 is Jessie, and then 6, and then you could have it. We could see like a maybe older grown up Andy, maybe have it be like take place in the future. Oh my God, that would be so cool, right? We see Bonnie is growing up now, and then she returns the toys to Woody, who has his own kids at this point. Ooh.
Wait, did you think Emily was gonna show up in this movie?
So that originally that was originally the plan, but I'm glad that they did it. I think it would have been too much. I think they showed restraint in not doing that, so I thought that was awesome.
But like while you were watching the movie, were you like, oh, this is the part where Emily's gonna show up? Unless you already knew that she wasn't.
No, I didn't know that she wasn't going to show up. I thought she was going to show up, and I was happy that she didn't.
Same. I thought that kept everyone on their toes. I thought that was a very smart move to begin with. And I also do love the way that they do show her, like with the lunchbox and everything.
Yeah, it was great.
I thought that was very significant, and it
was mature.
I'm not gonna lie, like that got me emotional. Mm-hmm. In that part of the story, Jessie's story really worked for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll say it's great. It's a good movie. You should
I had a great time. Alrighty. With that being said, that's it for episode 43 of Popcorn Problems. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And if you made it this far, you're the real MVP. We'll be back next week reviewing Supergirl. In the meantime, you can hit us up on socials at Popcorn Problems Pod and let us know what you thought of Toy Story 5. Don't forget to follow, rate us 5 stars on whatever platform you're using, and DM us your hottest takes and suggestions. We will see you next time. Peace.
Have a good one.